So today I'm just going to discuss about the dynamic programming, which is a advanced topic of the operation research one. Okay, so what is dynamic programming? Why is it called dynamic programming? And what is the need of dynamic programming? Firstly, I will discuss about the introduction and the need and application of the dynamic programming. Then I will proceed to the dynamic programming. So as the name suggests, okay, so as of now we have discussed so many things like transportation problem, assignment problem, transportation problem, assignment problem, and so on. We have discussed this. So in the similar way we have scheduling and planning. So everywhere it was assumed that the values of the decision variable do not change over the planning origin. So these problems were of static in nature and were solved as a specific situation occurring at a certain moment. But we come across number of situations where the decision variables vary with time, and these situations are to be considered as dynamic in nature. Suppose this is an objective function 2x1 plus 3x2. Suppose this is cost. So this is a linear programming problem. Let's say 2x1 plus 3x2 less than equals to 5 and 13. 5x1 plus 12x2 less than equals to 10. So this is the problems, let's suppose. So this is a simple linear programming problem which is of minimization type, so we can easily find the value of x1 and x2. But just think practically, what happens? We are finding this solution by assuming that the value of the coefficient of x1 and x2 are constant and they are not going to change over the time, isn't it? So let's suppose we are producing two kind of product x1 and product x2, right? So their cost is 2x1 plus 3x2. But can you say this call will remain the same after 1 year, after 2 years, after 6 months? Because the market is dynamic in nature. The price of the product can increase, right? So this will vary with the time. So the solution becomes trivial. This will not be optimal solution after some time, because this is static in nature. We are assuming that the coefficient of x1 and x2 entirely in the objective function and in the constant are constant. So suppose if there is a change in the coefficient, means there is a change of the coefficient of the variable with respect to time, then these problems are known as dynamic programming problem. So what is dynamic programming problem? Where the decision variable vary with time, means the value of x1, suppose x1 is 5 and x2 is 10. This is the optimal solution today, but it will not be optimal after some time. Why? Because the cost of labor may increase, the cost of the raw material may increase or decrease. So we have to take care into account the dynamic nature of the market. So that's why these are known as dynamic programming problem. Okay, so the technique dealing with this type of problem, so is it clear? Okay, so in optimization problem involving large number of decision variable or inequality constraint, so it may not be possible to use of the method of calculus for obtaining a solution. So what we do in this case, the obvious solution is, suppose a large problem is given having many number of constraint and variables. So The obvious solution is to split the original problem into a small sub-problem. So large problem is divided in sub-problems. Sub-problem 1, sub-problem 2, and so on. So a large problem is divided into the sub-problem involving few variables. Every sub-problem is having few variable, and that is precisely what the dynamic programming does. So what dynamic programming does, it use recursive equation that I will discuss. So dynamic programming use a recursive equation to find the optimal solution. Okay, so complex problem broken into a series of interrelated decision stages, say sub problem, wherein the outcome of the decision variable at one stage affect the decision in the remaining stage. So dynamic programming problem DP, dynamic programming problem was given by Richard Bellman. Dynamic programming given problem was given by Richard Bellman and G.B. Dantzig. G.B. Dantzig with produces the method of linear programming problem. So that's why the dynamic programming problem are also known as stochastic linear programming problem. Okay, so we'll discuss about the dynamic programming problem, how does it work and what are the various stages. So dynamic programming problem, so what we does in dynamic programming problem, we split the original large problem into the smaller sub problem, and each sub problem are called as stage. It's like in this we have divided a large problem into the sub problem, so each sub problem is known as stage. So what is stage? The point at which the decision are called for the point at which the decision are called stage. The stage may be certain time interval or certain subdivision of the problem for which independent feasible variable are possible. So each stage can be brought of having a beginning and an end. So the stages come in a sequence at the end of stage, forming the beginning for the next stage. Okay, so what is the principle of optimality? So dynamic programming problem is based on the Richard Bellman's principle of optimality, which state an optimal policy has the property that whether the initial state and decisions are, the remaining decision must constitute an optimal policy with regard to the state resulting from the first decision. Okay, so basically this principle implies that a wrong decision taken at one stage does not prevent from taking of optimum decision for the remaining stage. For example, in a production scheduling problem, wrong decision made during the first and second month do not prevent taking correct decision during the third and fourth month. So using this principle of optimality, we find the best policy by solving one stage at a time. Okay, so is it clear? So dynamic programming problem has two concepts. So DP has two concepts. First one is stage, second one is state. Stage I have already discussed. What is stage? So the problem is broken down into the sub problem, and each sub problem is referred to as a stage. So what is this? Each sub problem is a stage. Each sub problem is a stage. Simple. So a stage signify a portion of decision problem for which a separate decision has been made. At each stage there are number of alternatives, and the decision making process involves the selection of one feasible alternative which may be called as a state decision. And the second important concept is the state. So what is the state? A state represents the status of the problem at a particular stage. So what is the state? It represents status of problem at a particular stage. Stage is status of problem at particular stage. Okay. So the variable which specify the condition of decision process and summarize the current status of the system are called state variable. For example, let's say in the capital budgeting problem, the capital is the state variable. Okay. The amount of capital allocated to the present stage and preceding stage define the status of the problem. The number of state variables should be small as possible. Within the increase in number of state variable increases the difficulty of problem solving. So what is the procedure? Adopted in the analysis so what is the process that is adopted in the analysis? So the first step is define the problem variables. Define problem variable. Define problem variables and determine the objective function and specify the constraint. To define problem variables, then determine objective and specify constraints. Okay. So this is the first step. First of all, we have to be very clear about the problem variables, what are the variables and what is objective function and what are the various constraint. So this is the first step. The second step is define the stage of the problem. Define stage of the problem. As I have discussed, we have to broken down the problem into the sub problem. So we have to define what are the number of sub problems. So determine the state variable whose value constitute the state at each stage and the decision required at each stage, and specify the relationship by which the stage at one stage can be expressed as a function of the state and decision at the next stage. So third step is develop recursive relationship. This is very important. Develop recursive relationship. Develop recursive relationship for the optimal return function. For optimal return function. So develop the recursive relationship for the optimal return function and permit computation of the optimal policy at any stage. Okay. Now the fourth step is make a tabular representation. Make a tabular representation. Then find optimal solution. So these are the various steps in which we are going to solve the dynamic programming problem. First, define problem variable, determine objective and specify constraint. I will take example later on. Then define stages. Define recursive relationship for optimal return function. After that, make a tabular form. Then find the optimal solution. Okay. So now I will discuss about the relation recursive equation. So what is recursive equation? And this is very important. How to define the recursive equation, how to make the recursive equation. So consider a situation wherein a certain quantity r of resource, so we have a quantity r, right, of resources. These resources can be anything, maybe man, machine, material. So this r resources is to be distributed among n number of different activities. So this r resource, let's say rupees, okay, we are having 10,000 rupees and we have to distribute it among n different activities, 1 2 3 up to n. Okay, the return, listen, we are having r resource. So resource can be anything, it can be man, it can be machine, it can be money. We have distributed our resource into n number of different activities. So the return P, what is P? This is return. So the return P depends upon the activities and the quantity of resources allotted to them. So what is P? P is the return obtained from various activities. What is P? The return which depends upon the activity and the quantity of resources allocated to them. So the objective is to maximize the total return. So this is our objective. What we want to objective maximize the total return. We want to maximize the total return. Okay, so let's say if pi ri, what is this pi ri? Pi means return, pi means return from ith activity, right? So what is pi ri? Denotes the return from the ith activity with resource ri. What is pi? Return from the ith activity with resource ri, right? So this is the expected return, okay, which is the return from ith activity with resource I. So the total return may be expressed as, so total return, what will be the total return? So the total return from all the resources, let's say r1 comma r2 comma r3 up to rn, will be equal to p1 r1 plus p2 r2 plus so on pn rn. This will be the total return. So the quantity of resource r is limited, means which rise gives to the constraint. So return resource r is limited. What is that? r1 plus r2 plus r3, we have to distribute it among n up to rn, right? Let's say ri, which is greater than equals to 0, where I equals to 1 2 3 up to n, right? So this is the constant. The problem, so the problem is to maximize the total return, okay, subjected to constraint. So our problem is to maximize the total return subjected to this constraint, okay. So the problem is to maximize the total return. If fn of r equals to max, because we want to maximize, Ri may be 0 to r. We want to maximize this p r1 comma r2 up to rn, or we can write it as maxima ri lie between 0 to r, right? We can write pr1 as p1 r1 plus p2 r2 up to so on pn rn, right? Then f and r is the maximum retained from the distribution of resource r to an activity, right? So let us now allocate the resource to the activity one by one, starting from the last activity. This is very important. We will start allocating from the last activity. So let's say nth activity. So expression connecting f and rn, return maximum return from f and r, right? And f n minus 1 r from the second last activity. So if Rn is the quantity of resources allocated to the nth activity such that Rn lie between 0 to r, then regardless of the value of Rn, the quantity r minus Rn of the resource will be distributed. It will be distributed among n minus 1 activities, because Rn has gone to the nth activity. So what is the remaining? R minus Rn, that will go to the remaining n minus 1 activity. Let's say f n minus 1 is r minus Rn, which is remaining. So total can be written as the summation of, so total return will be return from nth activity pn rn plus return from the remaining activity fn minus maximum return from the remaining activity r minus rn, right? So an optimal choice of rn will maximize the above function, and thus the fundamental dynamic programming model may be expressed as fn r equals to maximum Rn line between 0 to r pn Rn plus fn minus 1 Rn minus r minus Rn, where n is from 2 to n equals to 2, 3 and so on, right? So where f1 r1 when n equals to 1, so f1 r will be p1 r, right? So this is known as the recursive equation. So now we have to see that how we are going to use the recursive equation in our problem discussion. Okay, so this is a very important topic, so I will be discussing later on its application. Okay, so thank you so much.